Hello, all my friends who are still having problems properly formatting a works cited page. I'm creating this video just for you to use as a tutorial so that you may have just a step-by-step walkthrough of how to put together a works cited page. As you can see on the screen up here with this sample MLA paper that we have, and you can find the entire sample MLA paper on our Edmodo page in the language folder. But this is the sample MLA page that you've maybe seen before. If not, here it is. Remember, we want to make sure that we have the works cited page titled as works cited. We're not going to change the font. You can see that the entire works cited page is still double spaced. You see that the works cited page still has a header with the page number at the top, and because the works cited page is always the very last page of your paper, this will be the last page numbered. As I kind of scroll down through here, the part that most of you are having problems with or have problems with is the formatting and using what we call a hanging indent, and that's where our first line of the paragraph is going to be left justified, and all of the other lines of the entry are going to be indented 5 spaces. Now there's a couple different ways as we start to put together our works cited page to do this. I'm going to show you what I think is the easiest one, but there's also different ways that you can change your formatting within Word. So to get started, we are going to pull open our blank page, and as I said, we want this page to be titled. We want this page to be centered. And as with many things in the new Microsoft Word, depending on what we're working with, we want to remove the space after a paragraph, or it's going to change our formatting a little bit. So once again, we do not want a space added when we hit enter. We are going to double space the entire entry, so we can actually go ahead and start that right now. We can double space this. Okay, we want to turn the center off because we want to be left justified. And then we're ready for our first entry. If you remember, on our entries, we do not number these. These are in alphabetical order, so we don't want to number, we don't want to use bullets. We want to think of each one of these entries as a paragraph. So I'm going to leave the Microsoft Word page. Oh, we still need to put our header on here. For those of you that don't remember how to put the header on, we want to insert a header. We would probably have already done this. And remember, our header is always our last name, and then it will be page number. Because I'm just making this up, I'm going to number this page 12, but you can obviously just set this to where it numbers the pages as you go. I want to delete these. So I just have that. Alright. I'm going to turn on I'm going to open up our Level and High web page because I want to make sure everybody understands how to get to Night Site. We are going to go to Media Center Resources. Then we are going to go to Night Site. Night Site is what I suggest everybody uses. Want to make sure that first of all we're using MLA. This Night Site, actually you can use APA or Chicago, just different formatting. books, but we're using the Modern Language Association formatting book. The first book that we're going to do is we're going to use We. It's a book by Yevgeny Zamyatin. It's also a translation. So what I want to look for here is possibly a basic book, but because it is a translation, just wondering if there's anything on here that says that. Since it's not, I'm just going to go ahead and do the book. It's compiled by one author. The author's name, this is pretty straightforward, even though it's a crazy name. Oh, and tab over, put his last name where it belongs. The title of this book, once again, is We. The edition of the book, there is no edition. It was published by Harper Voyager. Capitalize. The publishing city, which is going to be found on the title page somewhere, is New York. The year published, once again, usually found on the title page or the back side of the title page. And this publishing date is, it looks like 1972. And because we're using the whole book, it does have pagination, but because we are using the whole book, oh, actually we're going to leave this as yes, it does have pages, but we're not going to fill anything in here because we're referencing the entire book. This is print, so I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to submit. So there's my works cited, and then it becomes as simple as I'm going to select, I'm going to copy, and then going to paste. We're going to change everything once we get our different entries in here. We're going to double space down here. We're going to go back to Night Site. And we are going to cite a textbook, our anthology. And remember, an anthology is a book that has a collection of titles from different authors. So if we go down here to an anthology, our textbooks that we use in school, they have authors and they are going to have an editor. So we are going to look at the author's last name, and this author, for example, if we said we used the poem Exile by Julia Alvarez, Julia Alvarez is going to be my author. The original title's work is Exile. The number of editors, now these are the people who put together the entire book. You would find this in the front. Sometimes the editors are called program authors. There's actually two of them. So I'm going to click on two. The first one is Kylene. Her last name is Beers. The second one is Lee Odell. And then the book that they put together is actually the title of the entire anthology, and that is called Elements of Literature. And it's the fourth course, so I'm just going to go ahead and click that. And it was published by Holt, Reinhardt, and Winston. Once again, you find all of this information on the title page. And because I've already done this, it is stored in my computer's memory. The place of publishing is Austin. And the year published for this book is 2007. It does have pages, and because I took a part from the book, this was found on 307. It was just one page. It was found in print, and then I'm going to submit. It's as easy as that. If you notice that the formatting here is already correct, but it probably, as I go and paste this back to my Word page, and because it's alphabetized, I know that I can kind of start putting these in order. I'm going to go ahead and paste that. And one last thing that we can use here that I have a lot of students that ask questions is, what happens if you need to cite information that your teacher gave you? Can you do that? And that's absolutely you can. One of the things we want to look at here is possibly just coming up here and just looking over here and seeing what fits. And I might look at this as maybe like a lecture or a speech. For example, a classroom lecture. So, you know, when I'm looking at this, the number of authors, I'm probably just looking at one. But if one of my students was to cite me, it was just as simple as citing this right here. The title of a lecture, maybe it was a handout they gave you. Maybe on an agenda you'll see that there was a certain title that was attached to it. But you know, for the purpose of this, I'm going to make up a title that maybe my students would have found on an agenda. And then, what was the sponsoring organization? About Loveland High School. The city. Loveland. Is the city well known? I'm going to say yes. Actually, let's say no and see what happens here. Oh, look, it's going to ask us for more information. Loveland, Colorado, United States. When did this take place? Let's say it took place February 7th of 2013. What kind of presentation was given? Was it a public address? Was it a lecture? Okay, let's say it was a lecture. It was a classroom lecture. And we're going to submit this. And once again, it's made for us. I'm just going to cut. And I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to paste. And I know Zamyatin's going to be at the end, so I'm just going to paste it right here. And once I get all of this stuff on here, it's as simple as selecting all and just changing my formatting. Okay, there it is. But that still doesn't match this. We still need to get those hanging indents. And that's as simple as going back over here. If you see up here on the formatting ruler bar, this is what I like to do. You can also go up to paragraph and change this, where every time you hit enter on this, it reads it as a new paragraph. It would indent everything but the first line. I think it's just as easy to select all of this. I want to move this over 5 spaces, but that moves the whole thing. Now if you go back up here, you see that first line indent. I don't want the first line indented. So then I'm just going to move that back. I'm going to select this entire entry, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. And because this is only one line, I can leave it like this. And this works cited page, whether it's 3 pieces that I'm citing, whether it's 30 pieces I'm citing, would just continue to build. And with technology today, with the NightCite program, becomes very, very easy to put all of this together. It's just understanding the tools that you need to use. It's understanding the formatting that belongs with this. I hope this helps, and hopefully we will start to see fewer errors. Thanks.